Mounting chaos in northwestern Syria touched off heavy fighting and urgent diplomacy today and set a new wave of refugees in motion. Foreign Affairs correspondent Nick Schifrin has our report.
On the border that separates Turkey from Syria, the two countries' militaries are hammering each other. Turkey launched multiple attacks against Syrian government forces in retaliation for Syrian airstrikes that killed 33 Turkish soldiers last night.
Over 200 Syrian regime targets were heavily struck by aircraft, unmanned aerial aircraft, and land-based resources immediately following this heinous attack.
Inside Syria, the Turkish military is siding with Syrian rebels in Idlib against Syrian President Bashar al-Assad and his ally Russia. Nearby, the Turkish military has deployed to outposts near the border. Syrian civilians are forced into refugee camps where children have little to defend against a new adversary, the cold. These displaced families have spent years fleeing the violence and are hoping to escape to Turkey.
If the Syrian regime and its Russian and Iranian allies are in charge, then we have no option but to go to Turkey, and from Turkey, go to Europe.
But in Turkey, Syrian refugees who have spent months or years sheltering are trying to enter Greece after Turkey hinted at opening its western border. Some migrants aren't waiting, boarding dinghies to make the perilous journey by sea, stoking memories of 2015, when almost 1 million refugees risked their lives to cross the Mediterranean and seek asylum in Europe. To try and reduce tensions, today Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan spoke with Russian President Vladimir Putin. Erdogan also spoke with President Trump. And following an emergency meeting, NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg called on Russia and Syria to stop bombing civilians.
I call on them to stop their offensive, to respect international law.
The U.S. says it supports the Turkish operation, but the U.S. has not yet provided material support to help end the crisis. For the PBS NewsHour, I'm Nick Schifrin.